I wanted to understand briefly about EV Manufacturers Society. What are its roles and responsibilities, and what are its focus areas?
Okay, we are primarily a, association or society of MSME EV manufacturers. So, incidentally or accidentally, EVs in India were primarily e-rickshaws and the two-wheelers.
Mhm.
And then later on, probably, the four-wheelers, the other big companies, the big manufacturers like Tata Motors, Hyundai, MG, they all came in with their own four-wheelers. So, but primarily, the industry started as an import from China and assembling in India, and from there the market took off. Prior to that, there were few companies who were selling two wheelers, but that were not picking up due to certain reasons, for the want of probably the quantity that they were able to sell, and the awareness that was there was not that much, and there was no policy also for the sales of the EV, and it was not the government's focus area. So after 2014, around October, the policy came in, and then it started taking a legal route, a
Mhm.
legal shape. The central government played a very big role into it, especially the minister Nitin Gadkari, the transport minister Nitin Gadkari. He personally took interest, and he wanted all the paddle rickshaw pullers to be migrated to EVs, e-rickshaws. We keep on interacting with transport departments of various states. We keep on interacting with central transport ministry. We keep on interacting with the policy makers. We keep on interacting with finance ministry for that sake, and give them suggestions so that the business becomes smooth. The kind of EV cities that we are envisaging can be actualized on the ground. It's a very small effort. We have around 134, 140 manufacturers members who are with us now. So we are probably one of the biggest EV association as of now in.
What have been major growth drivers, and what have been the challenges in this journey that we have seen in last 7, 8 years?
Let's discuss the challenges first. Challenges were huge, huge in the sense that suddenly the import from China was stopped for e-rickshaw. There were new policies which were formed that
Mhm.
certain parts cannot be imported. Then, when the policy came for approval of the e-rickshaw, type approval of the e-rickshaw, so it also mentioned that there are certain parts which have to be indigenized. So we roped in few manufacturers of those who were into that trade, pushed them to do this, showed them the business, that quantity where that will be rolling into them. The entrepreneurs in our country, they have the manufacturers of these auto ancillaries, they have come forward. They have started manufacturing those things here. The other thing was the acceptability of the product in market, and the financing part. So
Mhm.
because no NBFC or no bank would be eager to, or would be able to finance it for certain reasons, because there was no clarity in the policy at that point in time. So when the Mudra loan came in, we got it included in the list of things that Mudra loan can be extended to. Few banks started coming forward to finance it. But now the bigger problem was the class to which it was being sold. They
Mhm.
were not habitual of going to banks. They were not, habitual of dealing with the banks. So that was a big concern. That was a big reason. And that initially, when the financing started, there were a lot of defaults, and delinquency was quite high in these cases. So we tried, make our own setups. If the
Mhm.
financing becomes smooth, the banks, as they are financing the cars and other things,
Mhm.
start innovating few products for the, especially for the e-rickshaws. So then
Mhm.
probably that can be a very good, very big, enabler for the growth in
Mhm.
e-rickshaw, three-wheeler and two-wheeler segment. There is another thing into it. We need to reform the policy also at certain points. Like for
Mhm.
the e-rickshaws, once you get the approval, there is no need for getting the COP, confirmation of production. So we
Mhm.
are pushing the central government for bringing in COP on this also. And then there are certain other policies regarding the battery, lithium-ion battery. So those policies are also to be looked into. Still, infrastructure is a big challenge. The
Mhm.
people who buy it, buy a e-rickshaw, they don't have a place to park it and charge it. So that is a big challenge that we are still facing. But looking at what the state governments and central government is pushing for, it looks like that it will be very, in the near future, the this charging and parking infrastructure problem will also be taken care. And probably we see a very robust kind of future for the EVs, especially e-rickshaws.
So, and Rajiv, one of the challenges that we have been facing is approximately 80% of the e-rickshaws are still operating on lead acid battery. And we are in the transition phase. We want to these e-rickshaws to be transitioned to lithium ion batteries. So how, in your opinion, is that happening? And is that really happening the way we want it to?
No, look, we have started pushing for lithium-ion batteries in last 2.5 years,
Mhm.
or maximum 3 years. Putting up a plant for lithium, manufacturing of lithium-ion battery in itself is a huge task. It requires huge investment. It requires lot of logistics to be worked out for the simple reason that most of the lithium is under the control of China. So
Mhm.
supplies are not there. There are no big manufacturer coming into the trade. One or two, three, four, three, four manufacturers have started coming in, but it will take time for them to improve the product. All the state governments have started giving incentives for or the subsidies for use of lithium-ion battery also. Once the supply improves, the usage will ultimately and automatically improve.
So, Rajiv ji, in your opinion, an organization like WRI, we are a think tank and research company. How can we help more in this space?
Thanks a lot to you for putting a lot of effort in streamlining the functioning of the industry. But probably some ground research,
Mhm.
and probably you are in a position where you can governments also listen to you. So more of interaction with us, and probably putting suggestions forward to the government in a nicer way, so that they also come up with the new improved policies
Mhm.
wherein it helps us the kind of environment and the kind of reduction in carbon footprint that we want to do due to the emission of fossil fuels and that thing.